This is Module 4 of the City of San Diego's Building Energy Benchmarking Ordinance Training Series, Automating Energy Data Uploads with SDG&E. In this training module, we will show you how to 1. Understand data request requirements, 2. Add SDG&E benchmarking web services as a contact, 3. Share your properties and meters with SDG&E, and 4. Submit a data request through SDG&E's Benchmarking Data Request Portal. When should you use SDG&E's Data Request Portal? If you need aggregated data, you must submit a request through SDG&E's Benchmarking Data Request Portal. If you own all of your meters or have letters of authorization providing access to individual meter data for your tenants, you can submit a non-aggregated request through SDG&E's portal. This will upload consumption data on a monthly basis, but will not upload any demand or cost data. To request data from SDG&E through an aggregated data request, you must meet minimum aggregation thresholds. If there are only commercial accounts at your building, there must be 3 or more accounts of an energy type, including your own account or house meter. If there are 1 or more residential accounts at your building, you must have 5 or more accounts of an energy type to request aggregated data. In cases where there are multiple electric meters but only 1 gas meter at a building, you can still submit an aggregated data request but will be required to validate the gas meter using meter trio data. That is your account number, meter number, and last bill amount from SDG&E. Prior to accessing the SDG&E Data Request Portal, you must prepare to submit your request. First, set up your Property and Portfolio Manager. If you haven't already done so, see Training Modules 1 to 3 for more information. Next, we'll connect with SDG&E in Portfolio Manager. First, we'll need to add SDG&E as a contact. To do this, log into Portfolio Manager and click the Contacts link at the top right of the page. Using the name field, search SDG&E Benchmarking. Click the Connect button, and then SDG&E will process your request. If you have existing meters in your property, you will need to edit your meter names in order to match the 8-digit SDG&E meter number. Click on a Property and Portfolio Manager and click on the Energy tab. Choose a meter, and then under Basic Meter Information, in the name field, update the name to only the 8-digit meter number beginning with 0. Click Save Changes. Now that we have added SDG&E as a contact and edited our existing meter names, we can submit a share request for all buildings and meters that require benchmarking. Navigate to the Sharing tab in your Portfolio Manager account and click Share or Edit Access to a Property. In Step 1, select the property or properties you wish to share. In Step 2, choose SDG&E Benchmarking. In Step 3, choose Personalized Sharing and Exchange Data and click Continue. For Step 4, click the Radio button under the Exchange Data column on the right. In the pop-up, you will choose Full Access for property information and any meters shown. For Goals and Recognition, choose None. Under Additional Options, for Share Forward, choose No, and click Apply Selections and Authorize Exchange. Click Share Properties. You should now receive a message in a green box saying that you've successfully shared your property. Now that you've shared your property with SDG&E, you can submit your request on SDG&E's Benchmarking Data Request Portal. To access the portal, visit sdge.com/benchmarking. Before you start your request, remember that if you fall under aggregation thresholds or are a third party requesting information on behalf of a building owner or account owner, you will need to submit a letter of authorization request for energy use. SDG&E automates this process online at Consent to Share. For details on data sharing requirements and registration, click the Consent to Share link. Please complete the Consent to Share requirements before submitting your benchmarking request. To access the portal, click Start Your Benchmarking Request. In the portal, there are 6 main steps to complete. We'll walk you through each one by one. Step 1, Getting Started. In this first step, you'll indicate who is completing the request. Note that if your request requires a letter of authorization, please complete that via the Consent to Share portal prior to proceeding. Once you've indicated who is completing the request, click Next. Step 2. Requester information. Enter your information under Requester Details. Click Next once completed. Step 3. Building information. On this step, we'll first set up our data request parameters and then provide additional data about the request. First, enter the Portfolio Manager username. This should be the username under which the property was created, which is also known as the Property Data Administrator. If you're not sure who the Property Data Administrator is for your property, log into Portfolio Manager and click on the property name. Under the Summary tab, scroll down to the box on the right hand that says Sharing this property. You will see the person's name next to Property Data Administrator. The Property Data Administrator username is in parentheses. This is the username that you use in the Benchmarking Data Request portal. Next, select the request type. If you need whole building data and don't have access to individual meter information or letters of authorization, you would choose Aggregated. If you are the account owner for all meters or have authorization to access all meter data, you can choose the non-aggregated option. Then, select the frequency for the request. We recommend you choose Recurring so that uploads will continue on a monthly basis until canceled. Finally, select the delivery method. We recommend that you choose Portfolio Manager so that SDG&E's system can upload data directly to your property. You can also choose Download to get an Excel spreadsheet of your data. Before proceeding, read the terms and conditions by clicking the Terms and Conditions link. You have to do this step to proceed. Check the box to affirm you have read and agree to the terms and conditions, and click Retrieve Properties. Note that property retrieval times can vary according to the number of properties in Portfolio Manager under a given username. Do not proceed with any of the next steps until all properties have loaded. This can take some time. The next part of Step 3 is where we will select the properties and meters to include in the request. By default, all properties will be selected except for unverified addresses and buildings not covered by Assembly Bill 802 data requests. You should only select the properties for which you wish to make a new request or override an existing request. You can easily unselect all properties by clicking the button shown. Go through and select the property or properties for your request. If your building or property has meters with multiple service addresses, which is common for multifamily properties, you will need to manually associate additional service addresses with the property. By default, all service addresses tied to your main property address in Portfolio Manager, for example 123 Main Street, are included. Whether you are doing an aggregated or non-aggregated request, you must ensure all service addresses are associated with the property, or the system will not pull all metering information for your building. There are two ways to address service addresses for multifamily properties. If you have a multifamily property, please be sure that all service addresses are added for your property, otherwise you will receive incomplete data. You can achieve this one of two ways. Create a campus with individual buildings for every different service address on your property. This will ensure the SDG&E system brings in all the service addresses associated with your property. You won't need to manually add service addresses in SDG&E's system, but will need to create multiple properties in Portfolio Manager with appropriate square footages and use details. The second option is to create a single property in Portfolio Manager to represent the total square footage of your multifamily property. However, this step requires you to manually add every service address and verify every meter using the process we'll show you next. If you do not manually add all of these service addresses to the SDG&E system, the data provided by SDG&E will be incomplete. To add multiple service addresses, click the link under the address column to see a dialog box of the service addresses currently associated with the property. In this box, you can deselect any addresses not tied to your property if needed by selecting the row of the address you wish to remove and clicking Remove. If you do not see your service address listed, you will have to add each one individually. To do so, first click Add Association. Search for the service address. Remember to use abbreviations like ST for street, AVE for avenue, HWY for highway, and be sure to include the zip code. If you have trouble finding the service address, Only enter the street number and zip, and the street address should populate. Click Search to find the correct address. Check the box next to the service address you wish to associate with the property and click Add. Repeat this process for all additional service addresses at the property to make sure that all energy usage at your property is accounted for. When complete, click Close. Repeat this step for all properties being requested. You can also click the building icon to confirm all addresses associated with that property in previous requests. Once you have associated all service addresses with the property, you can review the meter selections for that property. Click on the link under Property Name. In the dialog box, review all meters and account numbers. Deselect any meters that should not be associated in your request. Some meters are listed but can't be selected. These are SDG&E meters and should be ignored. Be sure to confirm all meter numbers at your property are included. If they are not included, the data for missing meters will not be reported with your request, causing an underreporting of energy usage for your property. For non-aggregated requests only, confirm the benchmarking period in the upper right-hand corner. For non-aggregated requests, you can adjust this period as needed, but at least should include January 1st for the year of which you are required to report data, or an earlier date, or else the data you submit will be incomplete for that reporting year. For example, for calendar year 2019, you should select January 1st, 2019, or an earlier date. Once complete, click Go to Property List and repeat this step for all properties being requested. Once you have completed adding service addresses and verifying meter selections for all properties, click Next in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Step 4. Customer Authorization. All non-aggregated requests and some aggregated requests with energy meters that fall under the aggregation threshold will need to verify individual meter account information using the meter trio. That's the account number, meter number, and last bill amount for a meter. To verify individual meters, click on the property name. In the pop-up, click on the icon in the far right column, the pencil and checkbox, for each meter. A new pop-up will generate where you can enter the meter trio data, that's the account number, meter number, and last bill amount. If your information is valid, the checkbox will appear green and you can proceed to the next meter. Click Go to Property List in the upper left-hand corner to return to the authorization screen. Repeat these steps for each additional property. Click Next at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen when you are ready to proceed. Step 5. Review and submit. On this page, you can review your request prior to submission. Check to confirm only the properties you wish to submit a request for are listed. If you see additional properties, click back to return to Step 3 and deselect additional properties you do not want to submit. Confirm the request type, aggregated versus non-aggregated, and that the verified address column says yes. Finally, confirm the number of meters selected out of the total number of meters available. Click Submit once you have confirmed all details of the request. Step 6. Confirmation. On this page, you will see a confirmation of your request with a request number. Please wait a few moments on the screen for a PDF to download containing your request information. Be sure to adjust security settings as needed to allow the download. If after 5 minutes a PDF download does not generate, it is likely your request did not go through. We'll show you next how to check the status of your request to see if the request was indeed canceled. If you are having issues with your request, be sure to contact benchmarking@sdge.com for assistance in troubleshooting your request. If the PDF does generate, as shown here, please save it for your records. Your benchmarking data should be uploaded directly to Portfolio Manager within a week. If you choose Excel as your delivery method instead of Portfolio Manager, an Excel spreadsheet will be emailed to you with your data. You will receive updates regarding your request from benchmarking@sdge.com. Next, we'll show you how to check the status of your request at any time. To check the status of your request, visit sdge.com/benchmarking and click Check the Status of Your Request. Enter your benchmarking request number, which we showed you in Step 6, and click Search. Review the status of your request. If the request says it was canceled, please email benchmarking@sdge.com for assistance in troubleshooting your request. If meters still need to be validated using the meter trio, here you can also edit the delivery method of your request using the drop-down box. Portfolio Manager must be selected as the delivery method for data to be uploaded into your property in Portfolio Manager. Click Submit to process any changes. You now know how to sync your meters with SDG&E. Once SDG&E has uploaded your meter data, watch Module 5, Ordinance Compliance Process, to complete the reporting process. If you have any questions about the city's ordinance, please visit sandiego.gov/benchmark or contact Energy Benchmarking at sandiego.gov.